In today's class, we're going to be looking at equations involving fractions. Equations are mathematical statements that shows that two expressions are equal. When these equations involve fractions, we need to be very careful in handling both the numerators and denominators. Okay, by the end of this lesson, we are going to solve simple equations involving fractions, word problems leading to simple equations involving fractions, and we're going to simplify expressions involving brackets. So let's quickly dive into the lesson. For us to solve equations that involve fractions, we need to carefully look at all the denominators in that particular equation. There are three very simple steps to follow in solving equations that involve fractions. The first is to identify the lowest common denominator, that's the LCD. Find the lowest common denominator, which is the same thing as finding the LCM. You can call it LCM or LCD. Okay, the next thing is to use this LCD to multiply each term in the equation, and then the last thing is to solve the resulting expression. In our first example, we're going to look at solve the equation x minus 4 all over 5 is equal to 2 minus x over 2. If you have a look at this equation, you can see that we have a denominator of 5 and a denominator of 2. We look for the lowest common denominator between 5 and 2. The LCM of 5 and 2, we have 5 and we have 2. So here we can use 2 to divide. 2 cannot divide 5. Still write 5. If 2 divides 2, we have 1. We use 5 to divide. 5 divided 5, we have 1 and we have 1 here. Once we have 1 and 1, the division is complete and we multiply the numbers we used to divide. That's 2 times 5. 2 times 5 gives us 10. 2 times 5 gives us 10. So our LCD here is 10. So the next step is to use this LCD to multiply through the equation. So each of the terms will multiply it by 10. First term here is x minus 4 over 5. We're going to multiply this by 10. Same thing with 2 multiplied by 10. And then same thing with x over 2 multiplied by 10. 5 can divide 10 to give us 2. So we have 2 in bracket x minus 4 is equal to, here 2 times 10 is 20, right? 20. And here 2 can divide 10 to give us 5. 5 times x will give us 5x. Okay, so moving on, we can open up this bracket using 2. Remember, if 2 is outside the bracket and we have x and minus 4, we'll use to multiply x. We'll still use 2 to multiply 4. So 2 times x is 2x. 2 times minus 4 is minus 8. And then we have 20. And then we have minus 5. And then we have minus 5x. Okay, so 2x and 5x are like terms. 8 and 20 are like terms. So we're going to collect like terms next. Collect like terms. Collect like terms. If you don't understand what like If you don't understand what like terms are, I still have a lesson on that. So here we have a negative 5. So to remove negative 5 from the right hand side, we're going to add 5 to both sides. So when we add 5 to the right hand side, it becomes 0, and then we'll add 5 to the left hand side. We will now have 2x plus 5x. So in trying to eliminate 5 from the right hand side to the left hand side, negative 5x will become positive 5x. Okay, so same thing, we're going to remove minus 8 from the left hand side and move it to the right hand side. We already have 20 on the right hand side. Here is a negative 8. Because it's negative 8, we're going to add 8 to both sides, and if we do that, we will now have plus 8. So negative 8 from the left hand side will become positive 8 on the right hand side. Now we can add, because they are like terms, 2 plus 5 is 7x, and 20 plus 8 is 28. At this point, we will now divide both sides. So we'll divide both sides by 7. Divide both sides by 7. So 7x divided by 7 is equal to 28 divided by 7. If 7 divides 7, we have 1x, and 1x is written as x. 28 divided by 7 is 4, so we have x is equal to 4. So when we solve that equation, we end up having x is equal to 4. In our next example, we have 2x over 3 plus 4 over 5 is equal to 17 over 15, 17 over 15. Now we can see we have 3, 5, and 15 as our denominators. We'll find the LCM of 3, 5, and 15. 3, 5, 15. If we use 3 to divide, we have 1. We can't divide 5 by 3. Still have 5. 3 divided by 15 is 5. We use 5 to divide. 1. 5 divided by 5 is 1. 5 divided by 5 again is 1. So we have this. 3 times 5 is 15. 3 times 5 is 15. So our LCD is 15. Now we're going to multiply through by 15, because 15 is our LCD. So we have 2x over 3 multiplied by 15, 4 over 5. Okay, and then it's equal to 17 over 15 multiplied by 15. So 3 can divide 15 to give us 5. So 5 times 2 gives us 10x. 5 can divide 15 to give us 3. 3 times 4 is 12. Is equal to 15 can divide 15 to give us 1. 1 times 17 is still 17. I have 17 there. So all we do is to solve this resulting equation. 12 and 17 are like terms, so I'm going to move 12 to the right hand side. Here is a plus 12. If I move plus 12 to the right hand side, I'm going to have a negative 12. So I have 10x is equal to 17 minus 12. So because I have a plus 12, we're going to subtract 12 from both sides. If we subtract 12 from the left hand side, we have 0. And then we subtract 12 from the right hand side, we have a minus 12. So 10x is equal to 17 minus 12 is 5. We can now divide both sides. Divide both sides by 10. So we have 10x over 10 is equal to 5 over 10. 10 we divide 10 to give us 1. 1 times x is 1x. 1x is written as x. And then 5 can divide itself 1. 5 can divide 10 2. So we have x is equal to 1 all over 2. Okay? You can always pause this video, rewind, and look at the solvings again. In our third example, we're going to look at d minus 7 over 2 is equal to 5. In this case, we have just one denominator, so we're going to use that denominator to multiply both sides. So we have d minus 7 over 2 multiplied by 2 is equal to 5 multiplied by 2. So this can divide this to give us 1, and then we still have d minus 7 5 times 2 is 10. Please take note that a bracket is the same thing as times. Okay, so here we have 7 and we have 10, which are like terms. We can't subtract 7 from D, they are unlike terms. But we can perform an operation with 7 and 10. What do we do? Because here is a negative 7 minus 7, we're going to add 7 to both sides. And if we add 7 to the left hand side, it becomes 0. If we add 7 to the right hand side, we'll have a plus 7. So minus 7 moving to the right hand side becomes a plus 7. Okay, so D is equal to 10 plus 7 is 17. D is equal to 17. Okay, sometimes we do not always. Sometimes it's not necessary for us to find LCD, even if the denominators are different. And this happens only if there is a single denominator on the left hand side and a single denominator on the right hand side. Okay, so take for instance in the last example that we took, we only have one denominator on the left hand side and we also have one term on the right hand side. You can see that 5 can be written as 5 over 1, so we still have just one denominator on the right hand side. Okay, in such cases you can do a cross multiply. Okay, I'm going to show you how to do that cross multiply in the next series of examples. But please note that cross multiply will not work if we have more than one term on left hand side and right hand side. For instance, in this example, we have 2 terms. This is a term here and this is another term. So cross multiply will not work here. And in this example, we have 2 terms here. Cross multiply will not also work. Cross multiply only works if we have just one term on the right hand side and one term on the left hand side.